Hello and welcome to the complete course on Python. In this session, we are going to learn everything on Python from scratch. I'm Raghav and you can find all my work on my website automationstepbystep.com and my YouTube channel Automation Step by Step. In this course, this is part 1 of this course and we are going to start with Introduction to Python. We will look at setup and installation. We will then select an IDE where we can write our Python programs. We will start with a very simple Hello World program. I will show you how you can get a user input from console. We will learn about comments, command line execution, indentation in Python. We will then learn about variables, data types, and I will show you how to get my project and how you can clone my entire project. And then we will move to part 2 of this course. So let's get started and let us start with Introduction to Python. So Python is a general purpose high level programming language and you can use Python for development, creating frameworks for your programming. You can also use Python for creating automation frameworks and machine learning and artificial intelligence. So whatever is your purpose for learning Python, you are on the right place. I will teach you everything from scratch. Python was created by Guido van Rossum in Netherlands and the first release of Python was in 1991 and today Python is managed by Python Software Foundation. So with that, let us go to the setup part of Python. Now in this particular course, I'm going to jump right into an editor that you can directly use to program or learn programming in Python without doing any kind of setup or installation on your systems. But still, if you are interested to learn the setup and installation part, you can go on my website, that is automationstepbystep.com, and here if you scroll down you can go to the programming section and here you will see a link for Python and this will take you to my YouTube playlist for Python, and here you can see all the videos on installation on Windows, Mac, and all the setup tutorials here. So you can watch that if you want to install Python, but in this session I'm going to use a IDE which is online available and you can directly start learning and programming in Python. So the IDE I'm going to use is, if you go to Google and just search for repl.it, this is a IDE that you can use for programming in a lot of programming languages like Python, C++, JavaScript, Ruby, etc. And if you go here, you can create a free account and then start coding. In my case, I will again go to my account on repl.it and here this will take me to my account. I am already logged in and now I can create a new REPL which is kind of a new folder, or you can go from here or you can also go from here and create a new REPL and you can see all these languages that you can use on this editor or IDE. So I'm going to create a new REPL and I will select Python as the language and I will call this as Python crash course and I will say create. So this will create a REPL or a platform where I can do coding in Python and it is getting ready. And now if you go to this side, the left side here, and you go to settings, you can select the layout. Do you want stacked where you can code here and see your output here, or you want side by side so you can code here and then see your output here. There is also a shell here. I will show you this later. You can select a light theme or a dark theme. The font size, large, huge, or tiny. Let me go with large so it is very clear to you. Indentation type, if you want to use code intelligence or not, all this you can do from here. And then this is where we can create our files. This is version controlling, packages, debugger, databases, etc. So now here is where we can start creating our Python program and we will see the result here. If you want to use command line, you can go to the shell. So with that, let us move to our first hello world program. So in Python, you can simply say print. Print is a statement to output on the console, and then we use these brackets, that is a start and a stop bracket, and inside this I can write anything to print or to give the output on the console. If it is a string, I will use double quotes or single quotes and I will write here hello world, and now if I run this, you will see here it is printing hello world. Even if I give single quotes, it will work. I can say single quotes here like this and say run, and it will still print hello world here. And just in case I create a new file, let us say I add a new file and call this as hello.py, and here in this file I say print and I say hello there, and if I now run it from here, you will see it is still running my main.py file. It is not running hello.py. So to make this run from main, so every time you run, this will get executed, the main.py file, and to call any other file I will say import and I will give the name of the file. So in this case it is hello. Now if I run, you can see it is running whatever is there in my hello.py file and then whatever is in my main.py file. I will show you more about this later. You can also use from hello and then say import if you want to import a particular function from this file, or maybe if it is under a folder you can use all this. But for now, let me come back and go to my hello world. I am printing hello world. Now I can also create a function. I will teach you about functions in detail separately, but just for giving you an idea, if I create a function, I say def and say hello and give brackets and colon, and now this is a function, and then after a space I will start typing print hello from function. Now this is a part of the function. If I run it now, you will see I'm still getting the output as hello world, which is coming from here, but this is not getting executed. To execute this, I will have to call the function. I will have to call using the function name and the brackets, and if I run it now, you will see it is printing hello world, which is coming from here, and then this is coming from this function. So this is how you can create a simple hello world program in Python. Let us see how you can get a input from user, and for that let us first comment everything. I'm selecting everything and pressing Ctrl and / on my keyboard. If you are on Mac, you can press Command and /. This will comment everything. We will also learn about comments separately. Now here I can say I will use the function input, and then here I can say enter your name, and I will take this in a variable called name. So I'm saying name equals input enter your name, and then I'm saying print hello, and whatever is the name I will say comma and name. So this will append, or this will refer to whatever is the value in this name variable and will append with hello and print it on the console. Let me clear this and run again. So it says enter your name. I say my name is Raghav and hit enter, and it says hello Raghav. Now let us say I also get the age. I will say age equals input, and I say enter your age, print you are, and whatever is the age, years old. Now if I run this again, I will clear and run. It says enter your name, I will say Raghav, and enter your age, I will say 40. By the way, I'm not 40 years. You can guess my age in the comments. So it says you are 40 years old. Now let us say if I run this again, and here I give my name, and this is fine. Now if I give my age something like ABC, which is not valid, and if I hit enter, it is still saying you are ABC years old, but I do not want that. I want to force the user to give only numeric data. For that, I can say here, I can do a casting. I can say age equals int age. So it will always accept only integers. Now if I try to run this again, I will say Raghav, and if I now say something like ABC, you can see it is giving me an error because it is invalid type. So I will have to give only a numeric or an integer value. I will type it again, and now I say my age is 35, and now this is running fine. So this is how you can get a user input in Python. Let us learn about comments. Now you can select everything, whatever you want to comment out, and press Ctrl and / or Command /, and this will comment everything. And what it has done is it has added a hash in front of each statement. So this is how you can do. Hash is for single line comments, and if you want multiple line comments, you just have to add hashes in front of every line. Or the other way is you can also use triple quotes, double quotes, or single quotes. I can do like this, and I can say this is multi-line comment. If I want, I can also say single triple quotes. So I will say this will also work. So these are the ways that you can create single line comments or multi-line comments in Python. Now coming to command line execution. Now if you see here, let me just uncomment some part of my program. I will again select and press Ctrl / to uncomment. And now let us say I go to the command line, and here I can go to the shell. So what you have to do is you have to go to the location of your Python file. In this case, it is already on that folder where I have my Python file main.py, and then I will say Python, and then the name of the file. In this case, it is main.py. If I press tab, it is auto completing the name, and if I run it now, you can see it is running my file. In case you are not on that particular folder where your file is, you will have to give the complete location of your file here. You can also use py and then give your file name. It may work, but otherwise you can always say Python and the file name, and this will run your Python file from the command line. So this is how you can use command line. Let us go to indentation in Python. Now, in most of the programming languages, indentation or formatting or having spaces is for easy readability. However, in Python, it is very important and it has a meaning. For example, if I say, let me comment this out again and then go down. If I say, if 5 is greater than 2 and give a colon, this is a if statement. And then here I say print and I say something 5 is greater. If I run this now, you can see it is printing 5 is greater, and you can see there is a space here. So this means this is a part of this if condition. Suppose I do not give this space and try to run it, you will see there will be a error. You can see there is indentation error. So this is expected an indentation block. So therefore I will have to give a space here, and it is not necessary that you have to give a single space. You can also give multiple spaces. It depends on the programmer. However, if you have decided to give multiple spaces or a single space, it should follow the same convention. So suppose I again try to enter something or continue with my coding. Now if I say here 2 is lesser, now this will work fine because all this has a same space or same indentation. Suppose I say something like this, I change the indentation here, something like this, and try to run this. Again, you will see I will get an indentation error. So spaces are important and you should follow the same pattern if you are using some particular spaces inside a block. So here you have to use single. You can have single or multiple spaces for a block, but it has to be the same. So this is about indentation. Let us learn about variables in Python. So in Python, variables are used to store any data or value. I can say x equals 10. Here x is a variable which is holding or storing a value 10, and then I can say y equals, I can give any string value Raghav. So here it is, y is again a variable that is holding a string value. Now you do not have to provide the data type when you are creating or declaring variables or adding the values. You do not have to provide any data type, and it will get the data type whatever value you provide accordingly. And to print the data type, you can say print, I can say here type of x. So if I do this and run, let us see the output. It is saying x is of type integer. If I say print type of the variable y, and if I run this, let me stop and clear my console and run again. Let me do it again now, and yes, now it is saying this is of type string. So you can get the type, and while declaring you do not have to provide any type to the variable, and you can do typecasting something like this. So here you can see we are kind of doing a casting. We are saying 5, but we are storing it as a string. So if I now print the value of x, you will see here it is printing 5, but this is not a number. It is stored as a string because we have done the casting here. Similarly, here it is casted into an integer, and here it is casted as float. If I try to print the value of z here, you can see it is printed as 5.0 and not 5. Variables are case sensitive. That means if I say x equals 5 and I say capital X equals 10, now these are two different variables and I can also print them. I can say here, I will say print x and print capital X, and you will see the difference. So when I run this, you will see this is 5 and this is 10. So these are case sensitive, and for the naming conventions, you can use all lowercase names. So for example, you can say my name, or you can say my first name. This is all lowercase, or you can use camel casing. In camel casing, the first letter of the first word is small, and then the first letter of every subsequent word is in caps. So this is camel casing. Or you can say Pascal casing, where every letter of the first letter of every word is in caps. Or I can say snake casing, where we use underscores. This is my file name, which is fine. So this is how you can use. These are all the naming conventions, and we can assign multiple variables at once. So for example, let me show you. I can say x comma y comma z equals to orange, banana, cherry, or I can also say x equals y equals z equals orange. Now in this case, if I try to print, let me show you. If I say print x and I say print y and print z and I run this, the output, it is orange, banana and cherry. And if I do the same thing here, after I give everything equals to orange, and now if I run this, you can see everything is equals to orange. So all these operations can be done in Python. I can use plus to add variables. For example, I can say x equals to Python and y equals to is great. Now if I want to say print, I can say x plus y, and you will see the output here. So if I do this, if I run this, you can see here it says Python is great. So I can use plus. Now if there are numbers or integers here, it will actually do the addition, but in case of string it will just concatenate the strings like this. And then we have global variables. So this is useful when we have functions. Let us say I say myvar equals 10, and then I have a function. I will define or create a function. I'll say my function, and here I say myvar equals 5. Now if I say print the value of my variable or myvar, and then I say print the value of myvar outside the function, let us see the difference. So this is printing the value of myvar inside the function, and this is printing outside the function. If I run this, you can see here I have yet to call the function. Here it is only printing this value, which is 10. And if I call the function using the function name like this, now let us see the output. So if I run it now, you can see when I say print myvar outside the function, it is referring to this value, and when it comes inside the function, it is referring this value. Now in this case, this is a global variable. It can be referred anywhere inside the function or outside the function. Suppose I do not give the value of myvar inside the function, and now if I try to run it, you will see the value will be same at both the places. So this is now a global variable that can be referred inside a function or outside a function, unless you override this value inside the function like this. And you can always also say global myvar. You can just refer or make this function as global inside a function as well. So you can do all this in Python. So this was about variables. Let us now come to data types, and in Python we have all these data types. We use string for text values, we use int, float and complex for numeric values, list, tuple and range for sequence, dict is used for maps, set and frozen sets are used to provide sets, and then for Boolean values we use bool. So let us see an example. Let us say I will comment all this. Let me just press command and / or control / in Windows, and now I will say x equals hello. It can be single quotes or double quotes. This is string, and I will say print x. Then for numerical values, I can say int, float or complex. If I say x equals 10, this is numerical. If I say x equals 10.2, this is float value, and I can also say x equals something like 1j. This is all complex. So this is how we can add integer, float and complex. Now for a list, I can just say x equals, in square brackets I can say Java, comma, Python, comma, Ruby. So this is a list. Or if I have to create a tuple, I will use circular brackets. Now I will tell you about the differences between list and tuples later, but here we just use these square brackets for list and circular brackets for tuple. Let me also print the value to show you on the console. I am printing it here. I will clear everything and run. So here you can see first it is printing hello, that is coming from here. Then here it is printing the list, and this is the list, and here it is printing the tuple. Now we also have range. Here to provide a range, I can say x equals, and I can say range, and I can give some value here like 10. So this is a range of 10 objects. I can have a map using dictionary, and for this we say x equals, in curly braces I can give the key and value. For example, I can say name and then colon, and I give the value. I say Raghav and then comma, and then I can give more data, key value. I can say job and then again colon, and I will say here teacher and then again comma, and if I have more I will say age or ID, and this is numerical, so I will just give a value like this. So this is a dictionary, and here we have key value pairs. I will print the dictionary, so I can just say print x, and I will run this. I'll clear everything and run, and this is a dictionary. Now we can have sets and frozen sets, and here for set I can just say x equals, and in bracket I will give the data. For example, I will say here Java, Python, Ruby, and I will say print x, and if I have to give a frozen set, I will say x equals frozen set, and then in brackets I will again give this the value that I have like this. So this is a frozen set, and now this is immutable, and I can again try to print this here, and I will run this and check. So this is how we create sets and frozen sets in Python. We can also give a Boolean value. For example, I can just say x equals true, and true or false, this becomes Boolean, and I can now just print the value. So we can have a Boolean data type in Python. And yes, you can see all this is printing. So this is all about data types, the basic data types in Python. Now to get my project, you can just go to this link. So if you go to this link, that is tuple.it, and at Raghav Pal Python crash course, you will get my entire project. And let me show you here. I'm going to this link, and it will show all the project that I have here, and you can directly copy from here. And just in case you want to clone my entire project, you can do a fork. So you can do a fork from here, and otherwise, even if you do not do a fork, you will still can see and copy my code from here. So this is how you can get my project. All these details and all these links and all the notes will be available in the notes section or the description section of this video. In the description, I will also provide the timelines for every section, so you can directly jump to any of the topics. I will see you in part 2. Thank you for watching and happy learning. Hello and welcome to the complete crash course on Python, and this is part 2 of this crash course. In this part, we are going to learn about strings, numbers, Boolean and operators, and you can also find all my work on my website automationstepbystep.com. So let's get started, and I am on repl.it and I am on my Python crash course. We have already learned in the earlier part how do we create repl.it account and how do we create a repl here. So now for part 2, let me create a new file. I will say part2.py, and to call this from main, I will go to main, and here I will just say import part2, or let me not give the codes here. This should be fine. Let me just try once. I will say print hello from part2, and if I now run this, let us see the output, and it is saying hello from part2. That means we are able to run our file from main. So now let us go to strings. Now in Python, you can create single line strings or multi-line strings. We already know that to create single strings, we just use quotes and then we can write anything here. But in case you want to create multi-line strings, we can use triple quotes. It can be single triple quotes or multiple triple quotes. Let us say I say str1 equals, and I give 3 double quotes, and I say this is a multi-line string, or I can also use single quotes. I can say str2 equals, and I'm using 3 single quotes. This is also a multi-line string. So this is how we create multi-line strings. And to print, I can say print str1 and comma str2. So I'm printing both of these together, and if I now run this, let us see. You can see it says this is a multi-line string, and here also it says this is also a multi-line string. So this is how we can print, and this is coming in the same line because I'm using a single print statement. Therefore it is starting from the same line, the second string here. So this is how we can create multi-line strings. Let us see how we can get string characters. So if I say str3 equals hello, now I can print str3, and in the square brackets I can give any index position. For example, if I say 1 and I run this, you will see it will print e here. That means it is the second character because the index position starts from 0. So h is at 0 index and e is at index position 1. In case I want to run or print a range, I can say 0 to 4. And if I now run this, let us see the output. You can see it is printing HELL, that is the first 4 characters. So you can also give a range like this. And if you want, you can get the length of the string. I can say print length or len function, and I can give the string or the variable that has my string. And if I now run this, you will see it is printing 5, that is the size or length of the string. And then we can check, we can do looping in strings using a for loop. I can say for x in, let us say hello, print x, and now if I run this, you will see it will print all the characters of the string, that is HELLO, in a loop. So we can use loops, and then we can check if a string is present. Print hell in hello. Now let us see the output. If I run this now here it will give me true or false. This is saying true because this is a part of this string. Or if I say not in and run this now, here you will see it will now say false because this is still a part and I'm saying not in. So we can use in and not in functions in strings. So we have done all this. Let me check everything. And now let us move to numbers. In Python, we have integer, float, and complex. Now integer are positive or negative integers or whole numbers without decimals and unlimited length. So I can just give a variable and give any whole number. This is an integer, and if I want, I can just print it like this. And if I run this, you can see it is printing it here. And for a float, it is a positive or negative number with decimal, and we can also use E for scientific notation, that is to the power 10. So I can say x equals 1.2, this is float, x equals minus 5.6, this is float, or I can say x equals 3.2, or I can say E and 2 here. All this will work. If I want, I can say print x here, and of course x will have the last value that we have added here, that is this one, and you can see it is printing everything here. So this is how we can use float. And then we have complex. In complex we write with j as imaginary part, and that will be a complex number like this. So let me just copy this for you here. All these notes, everything will be available in the description section of this video, and in the description you can also see the timelines for every topic, so you can check from there if you want to jump to any particular topic. So all these are valid complex numbers in Python. Now in Python we do not have a random number function, but we can import the module random. So if I import module random here, now I can use this. So I can say print, and I can say random dot random here. Let me very quickly check. This gives me a random float number between 0.0 to 1.0, and let me just copy this from here and paste it here and run. And there is some issue here. This is an invalid character. Let me just comment this out. I'm pressing Control and / or Command / in Mac. Let me very quickly check here. Maybe it is asking me to import it at the top. If I import it at the top of this file, no, this is still not fine. I will say import random, and yes, this is fine now. Maybe some issue. This should work within the file as well. It is not necessary to add it at the top. And let me check. Yes, this is working fine. There was some issue which is now fine. I can also say print. I can give a range here like this one. The function is rand range, and I can give a range like 1 to 100. So it will print a random number between 1 to 100. If I run this now, you can see it has printed a random number here. So this is how we can use numbers in Python. Let us go to Boolean. So Boolean are true false values, and whenever Python evaluates an expression, the answer is in Boolean, that is true or false. And we can also use the bool function to evaluate a value if it gives true or false. Let us see these examples very quickly, and I will comment the earlier part. So I'm going to press Control / or you can press Command /, and now let us run this. Here I'm saying print 10 greater than 2. So here the answer should be true. Here we are saying bool hello, then 15, and then I'm saying hello in this particular string. If I run this now, let us see. So you can see true for this. This is also giving true because there is something here. This is also giving me true because there is something here. And this is giving me false because here H is capital in hello and here it is not. If I say bool 0, let us now run this and check. And now you can see it is giving me false because this is 0. So you can use Boolean numbers and bool function like this. Let us come to operators. Now in Python we have lots of operators. Let us see all of these. We have arithmetic operators for doing all the basic mathematical operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, exponential, and flow division. Let me show you all this. I will say, let me say x equals 10 and y equals 20, and now I'm saying print x plus y, x minus y, x multiplication of y, x divided by y, and this is modulus, that is it will show me the remainder of this calculation. And then we have exponential, so this is raised to the power, this is x raised to the power y, and then this is flow division. Flow division will give me the integer part of the quotient. So in case it is in decimal, it will only give me the integer part. Let me run this and check. So you can see it is giving me all these answers: addition and subtraction and multiplication, and this is division, this is modulus, and then raised to the power or exponential, and this is flow division. So these are all the arithmetic operators. Then we have assignment operators to assign values to variables, and let me very quickly show you. Here x equals 5 is same. When I have to add something to that variable, I can say plus equals or x equals x plus 3. This is same. Let me very quickly try to show you. I will copy everything from here. Let me paste here, and after every operation I will print x to show you the results. So printing x, you can see this will just make x equals 5, and then this will add 3 to x, this will subtract 3 from x, this will multiply with 3, divide by 3, modulus, flow division, exponential. So all this we can do, and you can see all the results here. These are this and this is same. You can use like this, or this will be the same. These are all assignment operators. Then we have comparison. So we have here equals, which is denoted by a double equals operator, not equal to, this is greater than, less than, greater than, equal to, and less than equal to. And I can also just copy this and print this out here. I say x equals 10, y equals 20, and then all these operations will give me the result. And you can see false, true, false, true, false, true. This is all the comparison operators and give true or false. Now we have logical operators. Now this is to combine conditional statements. So we have and, or, and not. And will return true if both the statements are true, or will return true if even a single statement is true. Not is the reverse. So if the expression returns true, it will print false. If it is false, it will return true. Let me show you. I will copy this and try this out. Clear and run, and you can see the result here. If both the expressions are true, only then it will be true, and therefore we are getting false. Here, even if a single expression is true, we will get true. And here, let me say x equals 10, and now let me run this and check. And now you can see false, false, true. So this is how we can use logical operators. We have identity operator, and this is to compare objects not only if they are equal but also if they are the same objects with the same memory location. So here we say is and not is. Is will return true if both variables are the same objects with the same memory location, and is not will return true if both are not the same objects. Let me show you. I will say print, I will say x equals 10, y equals 10, and I will print x is y, and then I will also print x is not y. I will clear and run, and here you can see I'm getting true and false here. So these are the identity operators. We have membership operators. Here you can see we have in and not in. So here in will return true if a sequence with the specified value is present in the object, as we have seen in strings, and not in is the reverse. So here if I say print hell in hello, this will print true, and if I print the same with not in, this will print false. Let me clear and run. Yes, so we have true and false here. So these are all the operators in Python, and I hope part 2 was very useful for you. I will meet you in part 3 of Python full course. Thank you for watching. Hello and welcome to part 3 of Python full course, and I will start with collections, and this is going to be very easy and very interesting. In Python we have these 4 structures for collections, that is list, tuple, set and dictionary. And collection means we can store a list or a number of objects in these structures. So let me start with list, and I'm going to start and create a new file called part3.py, and here on the main I will call part3. I hope you remember all the part 1 data is in our main.py, and then we had part 2 and now part 3. So here list is created using square brackets, so I can just say subjects or sub equals, and I give square brackets, and I can say here Python, and I will say Java, and I will say Ruby, and then I can again say Java, because in a list we can have duplicate values. So list is ordered. There is an order of the values or the objects. It is indexed. We can access the elements with index position, and it starts with 0. So this is at 0 position, then 1, 2 and 3, and then it allowed duplicate values. So therefore we have duplicate values Java here. If I have to print, I will just say print, and I will give the list name, that is sub here, and if I run this now, you will see it is printing the entire list here. Now if I have to get some particular object or value from the list, I can give the index position, let us say 1 here, and if I run here, it is showing me Java. So we can get with the index position. Now in a tuple, I can create using circular brackets. So let me just copy this entire thing, and instead of the square brackets, I will change it to circular brackets here, and now this becomes a tuple. And here it is again ordered, indexed, but it is unchangeable, and it still allows duplicate values. So this is unchangeable. Let me show you. If I again print this here, this will be fine. If I run this, it is printing fine here. However, now if I try to make any change, let us say subject, and at index position 1, I want to change it to, let us say, JavaScript, and then I will try to print this again. And let me see now, if I run this, you can see I'm getting an error, an exception, type error, tuple object does not support item assignment. So I cannot change this. However, I can do this with a list. If I do this here, you will see it will run fine. So in a list, you can see JavaScript is added, but not in a tuple. So I cannot do this in a tuple. This is unchangeable. Then set, it is unordered, it is unindexed, it is unchangeable, but here there are no duplicate allowed, and then you can create using curly brackets. So let me show you. If I just use this and instead of the circular brackets I change to curly braces. Now this becomes a set, and if I now try to print this, you will see the difference here. I will clear everything and run this again, and here you can see here when I try to print the set, it has removed the duplicate values. So there was Java 2 times, but now you can see when I create a set, it has removed Java. So set does not allow duplicate members. Now dictionary is unordered, it is changeable, it does not allow duplicate members, and it is created using key values in curly braces. So for example, I will say dictionary 1 equals 2, and in curly brackets I will give some key value. I will say name equals Raghav. I can give a comma, and then I can say job, and I will say teacher, and then I can say ID, and I can give a numerical value as well here. And now I can print this dictionary. I can say print, and now if I have to access any variable or access any data, I can also say here give the name of the dictionary, and here in square brackets I can give the key. For example, I can say job here. If I try to run this, let us see the output. You can see here it is printing the entire dictionary, and here it is getting the job, and the value is teacher. So this is how you can create and access dictionary. So this was about collections. Let us now learn about if-else conditional statements in Python. So I will just select everything and press command / or control / to comment everything, and now I will create a if statement. Let us say x equals 10, y equals 20, and then I say if x is greater than y, and then I give a colon. So this is the syntax, and then you can see as I hit enter, it has taken a space here. This is important. The indentation is important in Python. And then I say print. I can say x is greater. Now if I run this, let us see the output. You will see nothing is getting printed because x is not greater, so it does not go here. Just let's say if x is 30, and now if I run this and check, here it is now printing 30 is greater. What if this is false? I can also have a else. I will say else colon, and then I will say print, and now I will say y is greater. So now if let us say y is greater, it will come here in the else block, and then we'll run this. So this is printing y or 40 is greater. What happens if both are equal? So if I say x equals 30 and y equals 30 as well, if I now run this, you can see it is still running this 30 is greater. What happens here is it is checking this x greater than y, which becomes false. It comes to the else block, and whatever we have is getting printed, which is not actually correct. So we should have another statement, and for that I can use a keyword elif, and now I can say y greater than x, then I should print this, that is y is greater, and then else if these two conditions are false, then I should print both are equal. So this is the syntax. Now if I run this, you will see it says both are equal. So this is the syntax of conditional if-else statement in Python. Let us learn about loops in Python, and we will see for and while loops, and we will also see break and continue statements in loops. So here I will comment this, and now to create a for loop I will say for, and I have to give some condition and range. I will say x in, and I can give a range. Let us say range 1 to 10. So this loop will run from 1 to 10, and then I will give a colon, and inside the loop I am saying print x. So x will print from 1 to 10. If I run this, let us see the output. There is some issue. Let me say it should be, there's an indentation error. Let me check. Yeah, so you can see it should come here, and this is why indentation is very important in Python. I will clear and run again, and yes, now it is running from 1 to 9. It is running from 1 to 9 because we are saying here 1 to 10, so it is not including the last one. Then I can also say for x in, and I can give a list here. So I can say here Java and Python and Ruby, and then I will say print x again here, and let us see the output now. If I run this, it is printing Java, Python and Ruby here. Then I can also use strings. I can say for x in a string called hello, and then I will again say print x, and then if I run this, you can see it is printing all the characters in this string. So you can use this, and I can use break or next. For example, if I say here if x equals let us say L, then I am saying break. So as soon as x becomes equals to L, it will break out of the loop. Let us see this. I will also print a kind of a separator here for easy readability. And now let us run this again and see. So you can see it printed H, E, and as X became equal to L, it break out of the loop. Now if I say continue here, let me show you. I will say here continue, and now if I run this, I will run again and see. And now you can see as X became equal to L, it skipped that particular iteration, but it still moved on to the next iteration. So it is printing H, E, then L is skipped, again L is skipped, and then finally printing O. So you can use break and continue, and the same thing happens in while loop. You can use break and continue there as well. For example, I say X equals 1 and I say while X is less than 10, I'm saying print X, and I should also make X increment by 1. I can say X equals X plus 1 or X plus equals 1 will do the same thing. And now if I run this, I will have a separator here as well. And now if I run this, let us see the output. So this should be in brackets. And now if I run this again and check, you can see it is printing 1 to 9. If I say X less than equals to 10, it will print 1 to 10. Now I can use the break and continue here as well, and you can try that. If you say here, I will say if X equals 5, I will say break, and then let us see the output. If I run this now, you can see as X becomes 5, it came out of the loop. So it is not printing after 4. And similarly, you can use continue in while loop as well. So this is how you can use loops in Python. Let us now look at modules in Python. And in Python, if you create a file with a .py extension, that will be considered as a module, and then you can import and call it in any other Python file. Let me create a new file, and I will call this as hello1.py. And here in this file, let me create a function. I will say def, and I will create a function hello, and then in this function I'm saying print hello there. Now if I want to call this in any other file, I will go, this is now a Python module, hello1.py is a Python module. Now I will go here and I will say import, and I will say hello1, and now I can call the function from hello1 saying hello1.hello. And if I now run this and see, you will see it is saying hello there, and this is now coming from that particular Python module. Now just in case you have a Python module in a folder, I will create a folder, let us say dir1, and inside this folder I'm going to add a file called hello2.py, and in this file I'm going to again create a function called hello, and here I will say print, and I will say hello from dir1 and module hello2. Let me now try this. I will go to any other Python file, and here instead of saying import, I will say from dir1, which is the folder name, I'm saying import the module which is hello2, and now using hello2 I can call its function which is hello. If I now try to run this and check, you can see it is saying hello from dir1 module hello2. So this is how you can create modules and then import and call its function. I hope this was very useful for you. I will meet you in part 4 of Python full course. Thank you so much for watching. Hello and welcome to part 4 of Python complete crash course, and we are going to start with functions. I will very quickly create a new file and call this as part4.py, and in the main.py I will call part4 or import part4, so it runs from here. And now in my part4.py file I'm going to create a function. So we use the keyword def to create a function, and I can give any function name. For example, I will use hello and then give circular brackets and a colon, and then from the next line you have to take care of indentation. There should be a space here, and then I will say I can write anything inside my function. I will say print hello world. Now this space, they can be a single space or multiple spaces, it depends on the programmer, but then whatever you want to put as part of this function should follow the same indentation. Now if I run this, nothing happens because I have not yet called this function. To call this function I have to give the function name along with the brackets, and now if I run this, it prints hello world. Now a function can also have a return type. Let us say I create a function called sum, and inside this function I take two variables with integer value, x equals 10 and y equals 20, and then I say c equals x plus y, and then I can say return c. Now if I call this function and I run this, this function is called but nothing happens. But if I print this function, I'm just printing this function, and you will now see it is returning 30, and that is because it has a return statement here. I can also append something here. I can say sum is and comma and call the function here, and now if I run this, it says sum is 30. Now if I want to get an arguments from the user, I can get it from user as well. I will say xy, and I will not take it here. So now I have not hard coded the values of x, y. I am taking it from the user or from wherever this function is called. Now if I run this, you will see there will be a error. It says there is missing arguments from where you are calling this function. So I have to add them here from wherever I am calling. So I will say 2 or 3 and 4. And now if I run this, it says sum is 7. So I can do like this. Now I can also get this data from the user. I can say input, enter number 1, and I will get it into a variable called x, and then I will say y equals input, enter number 2, and then I will be passing the value of x and y when I am calling the function. So if I run this now, you will see it says enter number 1 here. I will say number 1 is 10, and then I say number 2 is 20. Now when I hit enter, do you see it has actually just concatenated these two numbers 10 and 20 instead of doing a addition? And for that we will have to actually convert this into integers. As of now it comes as string, so I will say here int and put x in brackets. Similarly I will say here int and put y in brackets. I will run this again and it says enter number 1. I say number 1 is 20 and then number 2 is 30, and now if I run it, it says sum here now is 50. So this is how you can use it. Now let us say I create a function def hello user and I take an argument called name, and then I am print hello, and then whatever the name comes in the function or whatever value is passed here. Now to call this function, I will say hello user, and let us say I pass a value Raghav here, and let me just comment out the earlier things. I will press command / or control /, and now if I run this, you can see it is saying hello Raghav. If I pass something else, it is saying it will just take that value. And now using function, we have made our code modular and reusable. I can use it with as many values as I want, and you can see it will get executed every time. Now if I do not give any value here and I want to use a default value, I can say name equals and I can give some value. So if this function is called without any argument, then this value will be used. So let us see, when I call this with Raghav and Rachel, that is being used here, and you can see this. But if I call this function again without using any values or without passing any arguments, you will see it uses the default value. Now we can also use, let us say I create a function hello person, and here if I say star name, now by using this asterisk or double star, I am saying that I do not know what will be the number of arguments, but whatever comes it will take that. And now what I can do is, let us say I have this statement inside this function hello, and now I have to pass the argument as a dictionary. So from wherever I am calling this function, let us say hello person, here I will say, let us say first name equals Raghav and last name equals Pal, and here I will say name, and I can say what value I want to extract out of that dictionary. So now I can run this and check. So you can see it is saying hello Raghav. If I say this L name, it will accordingly take it. This is how we can use all the functions and all the arguments. And even if you have a list, you can pass a list, and then you can have loops inside the function. And then if we have a function something like, I have a function which is not implemented, you can give any name here actually, and inside the function I say pass. So pass is again a keyword in Python which will just pass the control or bypass this and will do nothing. So just in case you have some areas or blocks or part of your code which is not yet implemented, instead of having the actual code or instead of just having comments, you can put pass here and then add the code later. So this can also work in functions. So this is all about functions in Python. Let us learn about classes in Python now. Now if I go and create a class in Python, let me just comment everything. I'm pressing command and / on my keyboard. Now to create a class, we use the keyword class and then give the name of the class and colon. So here I have created a class and I have given the name to my class as car, and now inside this class I can create some variables. Let us say I say x equals 10, and I can also create some functions. Let us say I create, this is car function, and I give brackets and colon, and now inside the function I can print I am inside car class. So I have created a variable and a function inside the class. Now to access the class functions or variables, or to create an object of the class, I can use any variable name. Let us say I say car1 equals to, give the car or the class name and then brackets like this. So this has created a reference or a object to this class, and now using this reference or using this object I can access the variables like this. I can also access the functions of the class like car function, and of course this is something I will have to print. I will say print car1.x. So if I run this, here you will see it is printing 10 here, and I will have to call the car function with these circular brackets. That was a mistake. I will run it again, and now there is some issue. You can see here it says type error, car function takes 0 positional arguments but 1 was given. Now what is this? Whenever you have any function in a class, we use a argument called self, and this is always given as the first argument in any class functions, and this refers to the instance of the class, and also to refer any variable of the class we use self. Now it is not necessary that you have to name it self, you can give it anything, but it should be always the first argument. Let me run it now and check, and now you can see it is saying I'm inside the class. Now let me show you one more thing. In a class there is a function called init which is always called. So here is a function double underscore and init. This is the function, and this is always called by default whenever you create a object of the class, and by default it does not have any arguments, but we can use this to have some arguments, and then we can force the user that whenever he creates an object of the class, he will have to give those arguments. So let me say def init, and then here I will first use self, which is always the first argument, and then I can give some more arguments like name, model, and top speed. And now I will say colon, and here I will say self dot name equals name, and as I said that whenever we have to refer to class variables we use self, and if we use something else instead of self, that is fine, but then we will have to use the same thing here. If I use xyz here, that is fine, but it should be xyz here as well, and it should be the first argument in a class function. So I am saying this class function name, I am making it equal to whatever value comes in this argument here, and then similarly I will say self dot model equals model, and self dot top speed equals top speed, and that's it. Now if you see, if I try to run this, I will get an error, because now this class, whenever you want to create a object of this class, we have to give 3 arguments, that is name, model, and top speed. So here I cannot call it like this, or I cannot create object like this. I will have to give all these arguments. So I will say Mercedes, and then model I will say 2021, and then top speed I will say 200. And now let me not use this, and if I just run this now, there is no error. And now using car1, I can access the name of the car, I can access the model, and I can access the top speed. And let me just print this out. I will say print, and print here, and print here. So if I run this now, it is printing Mercedes 2021 and 200. Of course, if I have any function, let us say in this function I say name of the car is, and now I will have to use self.name to access the class variables. And if I now call this function using car1, I will say car function, and if I now run this, it says name of the car is Mercedes. So this is how we can create classes in Python. I hope this all was very useful for you. You can always go on my website, that is automationstepbystep.com, and here you can find all these courses and all the tutorials, and you can get from here everything. This will take you to my YouTube channel where you will get all these playlists and all the courses. I hope this was very useful for you. Do share your knowledge with everyone, and if you have any questions or any doubts, let me know, and I will see you soon. Thank you so much for watching.